Image bearers, how y'all doing this fine Monday morning? My name is Hans, and this is Hans Kamal channel. This is our secret. This is our digital secret place. It's a place where I want us to be able to come and just enjoy each other's presence, to enjoy each other as part of one body, and just to gain more clarity to discuss topics about God and just gain a better understanding from all of our different perspectives, basically. Today's topic is it's intense. I feel like I'm letting God down. Um, with this video, I want to just be able to speak to people who are moving into a different space. Maybe people who are growing as Christians are all growing, but I think people who are definitely being pushed outside of their comfort zone. People who feel that they are leaving their those spaces of comfort behind and they're moving into places which they don't even want to go, but they know that God is pulling them in those spaces and they feel a burden on them. I just want to speak to those people and where they are right now, because that's where I'm also at. So I just want to also just share some lessons and just get a bit more, just to be able to shine more glory on God. That's the most important thing, just to shine more glory on God as well. So let me just start off with where I'm coming from. Let me just start off with like how I've felt like I've been letting God down. I think it has to start from what, Thursday. I think Thursday night, Friday morning. I've been this past weekend. I've definitely been experiencing a lot more. I've been pushed more than I thought I would be. So on Thursday night, I got a comment on one of my posts. So a few years back, actually 3 years back, I posted about my struggle with porn addiction and how I wanted to basically let people know about that and just to be more open about it with other people. And on Thursday, I got like this comment by my very good friend called Chris, and I didn't know when I started writing that comment, when I started writing the comment, like what I replied. At first, I just thought it was gonna be like, all right, thank you very much, I appreciate that so much, like ta, and then like move on. But as I began writing, it just more started to like come out, and like stuff that I wanted to speak about, things that I wanted to explore more, and it became this very like reflective diary almost, where I was just like going through like my feelings, what I think about it 3 years later, what I feel, what I've learned, stuff that I'm still struggling with. Just wanted to give people more clarity on where I was, and I felt good about that. Honestly, at that time, I felt so good. I was like, I'm so happy I did this. I'm so happy God allowed me to like reflect on this night. And then you know, when I started to feel weird was when I had to post on WhatsApp. I felt like I needed to. So I got a new phone. So I lost all my previous numbers. So right now, basically, my WhatsApp is just filled with work people and family. That's literally the only people on my WhatsApp. And when I had to post about my struggle with pornography on there as well, that was it was so hard. It was so uncomfortable, and I struggled with doing it. I struggled with I think with having to reveal a weakness of mine. I struggled with being open up, and what I learned from that was like I didn't want to. I was holding on to the image of what people knew about me. I didn't want them to know this part about me. I didn't want to express this part on with people who possibly view me as perfect or whatever, right? And that was the first time I felt like I let God down, because it became a struggle for me to. I became very insecure. I became very uncomfortable with what God was asking me to do, and it didn't feel like, even though it didn't feel like I was doing it from a place of reverence to God. And thank God, because even during that time, I had to come back to him, even though I was still feeling uncomfortable. I had to come back to him, and we. I always do this whenever I do something, whenever I post, whenever I do anything. I always take walks, and during those walks, it's literally just a space for me to just let everything off my chest. So as I walked that day, that night, I literally just shared all my feelings, and I was just being as open and as expressive as I could have been. I wasn't trying to be perfect. I was just like, bro, I was swearing. I was like, bro, I was doing everything. I was angry. I was actually angry at God. I won't even lie. I was angry at God, and so I was just like talking. I was just telling him, why did you have me? Why did you make me do this? Why did it? It just feels like I didn't have to do this. That I was going off on everything, and God is very good because even after doing that, I was able to when you are your true self in front of God, there's always this peace that follows you. And even though I was in a space where I was angry, I was coming to God where I wasn't trying to put this perfect image on. I felt a peace. As soon as I finished talking, I felt a peace. And it just gave me like this comfort in that, oh, he's here with me, even though I felt. And that's why I struggled with posting that, because I didn't feel like God was with me. So when that happened, when I was able to just get that off my chest, I was able to just feel that presence of him, and it taught me how to like seek his presence more, and taught me how to like, when you feel like you've let him down, that's your chance to come to him. That's your chance to work with him and to be yourself. This life we're living is not ours. This life, I think that's one of the things I've learned this weekend as well. This life we're living is not ours. This life we're living is for God, and there's going to be a struggle when what our will and what his will are not going to be in alignment. And when we took the vow to submit to him, we we understand, or I'm learning to understand, that the things he's going to make me do that are going to, even though they're going to be uncomfortable for me, they're still important. They are still, it's for two things, and that's something I've learned as well. Anything that he makes me do, no matter bad, good, whatever the experience is, it's for two things. One is for his glory, it's for the glory of God, and two, it's for my good. And what I learned from that is that by me opening up about my struggle with pornography on my WhatsApp specifically, and also on Instagram, because on both places it was able, new people saw it, and new people were able to gain that knowledge of me. Even though it was me showing my weaknesses, it was important because it allowed God to show his glory, to show that he's able to still use a person who is weak, who's struggling with whatever you're struggling with. It was able to show that God is able to use you in your weaknesses. And that's a lesson that I'm still learning. It's something that I'm still learning to be more comfortable with. That tension of when God's will and my will are like, there's friction there. And I'm learning to also rely on God's patience with me and his grace, because it's definitely not comfortable when I'm being put in those positions, but I appreciate that I appreciate him still doing it. And I think that's one of the is that I still appreciate him putting me in those positions, because it's allowing me to only rely on him and to push me towards him. And yeah, so after I did that, that was like the first thing. That was like, okay, that was uncomfortable, but we got through it. Next day was Friday, right? We go to campus outreach. Um, campus outreach. We go to campus outreach. Campus outreach is like, is this it's an amazing initiative by like, it's a Christian group that like targets like youth in universities. And after going to campus outreach, I met these people. I met like these new people I had never met before. I met like this, I don't even know their names, but like we met in campus outreach, and then we started walking together. And for if okay, I'm a very shy person. I don't like talking to people I don't like being in spaces where I'm not comfortable with. I don't like engaging with people I'm not comfortable with for like long times. I feel like I get very awkward, which is so I literally avoid anything that involves me having to talk to new people for a long period of time. And after campus outreach, after meeting these people, I it was a good moment because God put me in a space where I was uncomfortable. God put me in a space where I was not around people who I knew. I don't think that was the people I was with were the first. It was the first time that I'd met each and every one of them. So when I was there, I was constantly like trying to seek a way out, trying to try like I'm always like trying to come up with an excuse, but like it failed. I'm trying to come up with like a way to get out of trying to get back to my room. Everything failed. And so I'm literally walking with people I'd never met, having to interact and having to learn how to be a part of a community with people I don't even know. And that was one of the most, it was so uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was good for me because I ended up discovering so much that night in terms of like just meeting people who and discussing more about God and just learning like those different perspectives. If I had my way, I would have probably been in my room sleeping or doing God knows what. I would be doing nothing. But so when God placed me in that position, no matter how uncomfortable it was, He saw that it was I needed to learn how to be a part of a community, and I need to be a part of community, and also need to be a part of learning how to live with other people, learning how to communicate, and not to live under my assumptions that, and also to fight against my insecurities, the insecurities of fight against my insecurities of seeking safe of comfort, seeking places of comfort, and that usually means me being isolated, me not talking to anyone, me having to try to talk to people, to learn how to communicate with people. That was important for me to learn through those experiences. And I feel like God worked through amazing. He killed that on Friday, where by allowing me to be in the to be with each and every person there, I learned to grow. I was growing. I was learning from other people, and that was so important for me. Now, where I let God down, it happened afterwards. So I'm in my room, and so the night ends and I'm like so happy. I'm on like a high. Like I'm like, oh my god, that was so fun. I enjoyed talking to them. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed listening to each and every person. Like, oh my days, this was so cool. And I have this thing that when God does something for me, I become very hyper aware. So when God does something good to me, I become very hyper aware of that He's done something good, and I start to overanalyze everything so that I don't to like try and not sin. So like I'm literally like after something good has happened, so I hanged out with like amazing people. I'm now hyper aware of everything. I'm like analyzing every thought I have. I'm trying to make sure that everything I do is like according to God. Everything I do is like making sure that every aspect of my thoughts, everything that I do is like perfect. Because in my head I have this, it starts to go to a place where I'm trying to justify why God has crafted an amazing time for me. I'm trying to justify why God has given me this amazing time by me trying to be perfect. And that's where I feel like I let God down because I'm not it moves away from me viewing God as a gracious God, and it's now like it's kind of like a give and take. So like it's a transactional, it becomes more a transactional relationship. So God has given me something, now I'm trying to buy what he has given to me by being good. And we know that works can never be result to can never justify any good that God can give. So it just put me in such it it made me it made me like it made me sad because it brought back those insecurities of I'm never able to receive. I always feel like if I receive something, I have to give. I have to pay for it, or it has to be because of something good that I've done. So I can never accept God's love just purely. And that's also another thing I've been struggling with, where I'm learning that I'm learning the true like impact of Jesus dying for us, and I'm struggling with accepting the fact that He died for me, without accepting, with for free. So it means that He did not want anything in return, and I'm struggling with the image that I have of myself and the negative things, the negative perception that I have of myself, self-image, and I'm putting myself in a place where if God is going to do something good for me, it has to be because of something that I've done. I don't want it because he's just good. And that's a place where I feel like I'm struggling with as well. And I think living or understanding why and or yeah, understanding that God is good is really hard. It's something that comes with time, and it comes with also and trust. That's also, I think that's also another lesson, is it requires me to build my trust in God, so that when I receive something from my Father, I know that it doesn't come with any attachment. It doesn't come with anything that I need to give back. What it comes with is just love, and from that love is where I should also come with my own actions, with my own works, is with love. It's because of a good God that I want to do good, and not because of any transactional thing that He has done. um Joseph Solomon tweeted something a few years back, where he said that God is not learning who you are. He already knows you. So nothing you do can surprise Him. So and that was like, it was such a truth bomb for me, because every time I sin, obviously it's new to me. So I always have this mindset that it's also new to God. And that's not true. God already knew each and every one of my steps. He has already planned each and every one of my steps, that everything will link back to Him. Everything will come back for His glory. So yes, I may sin today, I may fall today, but everything that I would do will be, at the end of the day, He will complete the good work that He has started. And my iniquities, He's still going to complete that work. So I'm learning now to just rely on that, to trust in that, rather than me trying to do anything good from my own heart, which is obviously deceitful and all of that, right? And then the third thing, the third experience that made me feel like I let God down was my experience with, on I think Saturday, Sunday. So every Saturday, me and my friend Junior always have like calls. We always have calls, like we just call every Saturday just to check up on each other, just to speak about stuff, to see where we are, just to enjoy each other's company, to see where we're at as well. And we both do YouTube as well, and so we're speaking about how to grow our, not following, but how to grow our community, how to become more engaged, not just be able to talk to people and like you not connecting with them. How do we connect with them? And he challenged me, or didn't challenge, but he asked me to post a poll or something, or that something to that regard. And I posted a poll about swearing. I posted one about how I wanted to ask people, do you think that swearing is wrong? So I said yes, no, or it depends on your personal conviction. Then another slide, I posted like a space where they could write their answers or write their opinions. I was not ready for that. That was another space where I was not ready for, because as people were answering, I started to develop I started being triggered. Honestly, I started being triggered, because a lot of the responses I it started like gaining a it started to become more personal. I felt like they were personal to me. I feel like the people were talking to me or talking about me because I have a problem with swearing. So it's like when people are like, you shouldn't swear, I'm like, are they talking about me? Are they trying to tell me something? And it became more about me. It became more about like, what it became more about how I feel and how I am perceiving the situation, how I am perceiving what other people are saying. And that put me in a spiral, honestly, because I struggled with that. I think I stopped going on Instagram for a bit, for not long, but like for a few hours because I was struggling with that, and it was just really hard to deal with that, to deal with God again, putting me in another space where I am revealing another weakness of mine, which is very to people, and this time them having to comment on it, and it was a situation where I was struggling. I was struggling. I was really struggling with that. And again, it just went back to I was struggling with me not trusting God, not trusting that He had good intentions for me, not trusting that I should also lean on Him in this moment. I should lean on His understanding in this moment, on His will in this moment, rather than mine. Because I learned that the importance of me doing that is not just for me to reveal my weaknesses. It's not just about that. In fact, it's not even about me. But by putting a space for people to be able to speak about God, it allowed them to be able to connect with their or with the Holy Spirit. It allowed them for them to talk to God, to continue to engage with God on a topic which they can go back to His Word. They can pray about it. They can speak to God, and in that space, it's like I'm helping, or God has used me to facilitate Him growing their relationship with them, and it all ends for His glory. So I just learned how even though I'm being moved in a space where I'm having to be more open about my weaknesses, I shouldn't I shouldn't I shouldn't worry, because and the verse that I was directed to was 2 Corinthians 12, from Second Corinthians 12, no, Second Corinthians, where should we start? Second Corinthians 9. Let's start from 9. He says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That's why, for Christ's sake, I delight in my weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, and in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." So, and that is just a powerful verse. And that verse that has been the one which I've been meditating on a lot, especially this weekend, because it has been a weekend where I've had to be more open about my weaknesses. I've had to be more um, I've had to be I was placed in places, in spaces where I did not expect to be in, and that were really uncomfortable, and I had to it made me actually see the need to come to God and to be like, hey, I'm struggling, I'm weak, and to really be, and to just say that. I think before this week, and I wouldn't say that I thought I was strong, but I never understood how how weak I could be, how weak I could portray myself in public. And this was just an amazing lesson for me. And I hope that just by going through some of these topics, right? I hope that if anyone feels like, hey, I feel like I'm letting God down, or I feel like I'm not living up to God's standard of me, that is a feeling you need to just go back to your drawing board, go back to your secret place with God, and discern what part of this is my insecurity and what part of this is what God is calling me to do. What part is the Holy Spirit being like, and you can do, we know you can do better here. You always have the strength. You can come and draw strength from, you can come and draw wisdom. So you need to discern between the two. And the second thing I would advise is that learn that this life is not our own anymore. This life is not this that's big that is the biggest lesson I've had this weekend. This life is not my own. And by revealing so much of my weaknesses, that encapsulated it, how much I've realized this life is not our own anymore. And the need for me to crucify myself, to crucify my flesh, and to die to myself every day. It's been a very taxing weekend, but it's been a very important weekend for me to understand what God is, how God wants to use me. And building your trust, that's like, I think that's one of the next lessons, is build your trust in the Lord, not just in good moments but also in moments of weakness. In the moments of weakness, in the moments when you are angry, in the moments when you are sad, in the moments when you are depressed, in the moments when you are downcast, trust in the Lord in those moments. And another verse I say is, let the joy of the Lord is my strength. So, and God is always joyful. God is always joyful. He's filled with joy all the time, and He's proud of you. That's like one of the, if there's one thing I could leave with, is that God is proud of you, even in this moment. So, let the joy of the Lord be your strength, and keep on working on those insecurities, man. Allow God to reveal them to you, because I think that's another thing, is that God is revealing our insecurities to us through these uncomfortable moments, through these moments where we'd rather not be in. God is revealing our uncomfortabilities or insecurities, sorry. And so, hey, just allow God to use this to prune you, to continue to grow you and develop you. And it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be for His glory, and it's going to be for your good. That's always His motive in everything that we do. Yeah, that is me, man. That is me. Thank you guys so much. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much. I hope that lessons, these stories, these experiences, hopefully are relatable to you. I hope I've been able to communicate God more than anything. I hope that didn't get lost in any of this. And I pray that it just continue to help you in any way. If you get anything, I pray that it is solidified in you, and you continue to just grow stronger and stronger in the Lord. Right, amen. I'll see you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. See ya.